Assalamu alaikum. Dear brothers and sisters, this is Muhammad Baik again from ArabicForNonArabs.com and with week 3 where I'll be speaking about Harful Alif wal Fatha pronounced with each letter. As we said in previous classes, Harful Alif, and I'm not gonna repeat what does that mean because I did put that in the vocabulary of week 4. Harful Alif gets affected with the letter before it, with the characteristics of the letter before it. Therefore, we want to practice Harful Alif wal Fatha with each alphabetic letter. Before we start, I want to put the spot on some important notes. When we stop at a word that ends with Harful Alif, that ends with the letter Alif, we do not cut the voice suddenly by closing the vocal cords. For example, the word Musa ends with an Alif. When we pronounce this word, we don't say Musa, Musa. We don't just close the vocal cords, but we fade out the sound of the Alif, of Harful Alif, okay, until the sound disappears. Musa, Musa. See, we're fading out. Musa, Musa, Musa. Second note here. We have to notice, or we noticed before, that Harful Alif is affected with the characteristic of the tongue elevation of the precedent letter in its word. This note here I will illustrate more in this class, and the main concentration of this class will be on this note specifically. The next note. The status of the deepest part of the tongue should remain the same from the beginning till the end when pronouncing Harful Alif. Meaning, when we are pronouncing a word that has Alif, this is the deepest part of the tongue, which is the back part of the tongue. When we pronounce a word with the letter Alif, for example, As-sama, okay, or for example, Qala, we want to change the elevation of the tongue, of the deepest part of the tongue, while we're pronouncing the letter Alif. For example, we do not say Qala, Qa, 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 Qa. See, I went from Qa to A. And as well, I'm gonna give you a word with the stretched Alif. As-sama. We do not say As-sama. See? This is what I meant with this specific note. Now the next note. When pronouncing Harful Alif, the letter Alif, Harf is letter, I'm gonna repeat again, and Alif is the letter, is the name of the letter, such as the letter A, we call it A, and this letter is called Alif. You do not open your lips very widely. Opening your mouth as much as you open it in pronouncing the letter A in cat or in car. This word here is supposed to be mouth. So you open your mouth as much as you open it when you pronounce an A in car or cat. I'm gonna show you and illustrate that in a video right now. For example, the word Qala, Qala, Qala. We do not say Qala, Qala, nor we do say Qala, Qala. No, we say Qala, Qa. It's just as wide as you open your mouth when you pronounce the A in cat or in car. Car. You don't say car, cat. Okay? So you say قال. Or you do say, for example, كال السماء. I hope this is clear. Now here are some other notes related to حركة الفتحة. As we stated before, that حركة الفتحة is the short form of the long vowel Alif. So, a fatha is an alif. A fatha is a short vowel. An alif is a long vowel. So, حركة الفتحة is the vowel of fatha. Now, here are some notes related to al-fatha. Note number 1. A fatha is always accompanied with a consonant if the letter does not have any short vowel, such as a fatha, as we have learned before, as we learned before, or a dhamma or a kasra. We will call it a non-voweled letter. Note number 2. When harf al-alif comes after a fatha, we stretch the fatha to twice its time, such as qa. See, I gave the time of, so the two letters here. When I'm saying qa, let's see here. Bring the circle. When I'm saying qa, it takes the time of qa, 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 qa. When pronouncing it, it takes the time of qa and qa. Okay. Note number 3. When pronouncing fatha, we open the lips as much as we open it when pronouncing an alif. And I'll illustrate this in the coming video right now. When we pronounce a fatha, we say, for example, qa or sa. See, when we stretch the fatha, we stretch it at the same specific opening of the mouth to present an alif. For example, qa, 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 sa, 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 sa. But we don't say sa, sa, sa. We say sa, qa, qa, sa. I hope this is very clear. Now let's go back to the presentation and start practicing the letter alif, harful alif, and al-fatha with different letters of the alphabet, because we said that vowels do not come alone. They need a consonant, and alif needs a consonant before it, and with this consonant it needs a fatha with that consonant. We said that al-fatha and al-dhamma wal-kasra, those are called harakat, and we will stop using the word vowels. We will start using the word harakat. Haraka is movement. So why do they call it harakat? Because it moves the letter. Okay? Now let's start here. Harful ba, the letter ba, plus, this is the plus sign, the addition sign if someone doesn't know it, with harful alif. We know harf al-ba because anybody who's attending this course is supposed to be a person who knows the alphabet. Now let's practice harf al-alif. Let's practice لنتدرب على حرف الألف الباء مضافا إليه حرف الألف. This is the letter ba, as we can see it here, not connected from the right or not connected from the left. The ba accepts to be connected from the right side and accepts to be connected from the left side. When we add an alif to the ba, the alif, as we noticed before, connects from the right side only. So we have this extension here. While this is removed, and there is an extension with the ba to be connected to the alif to form a ba, ba, ba. And as we said in the note number 1, that we do not say ba except if there's a hamza here, of course. But here I have not written a hamza, so you do not pronounce a hamza. You do not close your vocal cords, because once you close your vocal cords, the sound of a hamza appears. Now, let's take examples. Bab, 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 bab. See? Alif does not connect from the left side. And once the ba is not connected from the right side, it is written just like it's written here. Okay, so this is the letter not connected from the left side or not connected from the right side. This is the ba when it connects from the left side. And this is the ba in a word where it's not connected nor from the left side nor from the right side. And this is how you pronounce an alif after a ba. You don't say ba. You don't say pa. You don't say pa. You say ba, bab, bab. Now, let's take another word. Aba, aba, aba. See? The alif here is at the end of the word. And because it's at the end of the word, we do not cut the sound of an alif with closing the vocal cords, forming the sound of a hamza. Let's go to the other letter. The letter ta. حرف التا. Added to it the alif. Here's a ta. It's just like a ba, and it has all these written characteristics of a ta, of a ba, but it has only one difference: written characteristics. I didn't say sound characteristics. That there is 2 dots over the ta, while in ba there is 1 dot beneath the ba. The ta here, ta with an alif connected from the left side. Now, when there are similarities, I won't explain again. So here it's very similar to the ba in terms of writing, and once we pronounce it, we also do not elevate the back of the tongue, as I explained. We do not elevate the back of the tongue, the deepest part of the tongue. And I explained at the beginning of this video where is exactly the deepest part of the tongue. It is the part of the tongue far away from your lips. Let's take some examples. أمثلة. تاجر, تاجر, تاجر. We don't say تاجر or تاجر. We say تاجر. I'm going to show you in the video now how do I pronounce it exactly. Assalamu alaikum. This is how I pronounce the letter ba, 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 ba. And this is how I pronounce the letter ta, 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 ta. I don't say tajir. I say tajir, bab, bab. But I don't say tajir, tajir or tajir. I say tajir. I don't say as well bob or bob. I say bab, bab. As you can see, my lips and my back tongue is not elevated, or the deepest part of the tongue is not elevated. Let's go back to the presentation here. Tajir and ata, ata. I don't say ata, ata. Let's go to the third letter. حرف الثاء. حرف الثاء. Added to it حرف الألف. A tha just looks very similar to the ba and the ta, but it has the 3 dots over it. And this is a fatha here. When we have a fatha here, it gives the sound of what? If tha. What if we have a dhamma or a kasra? Dhamma gives the sound of thu, thu, because it is the daughter of a waw, and ya and kasra gives the sound of thi, because it is the daughter of a ya. Okay, now we add to the tha an alif, and it has the similar characteristics of writing as the ba and the ta, forming with an alif a tha, and we do not elevate the back of the tongue when we pronounce the letter tha. Examples: ثاقب, ثاقب, ثاقب. And we do not say here ثاقب, th. No, we say tha, tha, tha. Your tongue should be at resting position from the back end, or the deepest part of the tongue should not elevate. You should say tha, not tha, tha, or the. ثاقب, not ثاقب, not ثاقب, not ثاقب, not ثاقب. ثاقب, ثاقب. أنثى, أنثى. The third letter. The third letter is the letter جيم. حرف الجيم مضافا إليه حرف الألف. So it is the حرف جيم added to it the حرف ألف. This is how a جيم looks like when it's alone. Now, does the جيم connect from both sides? Yes, it does connect from both sides. So let's see how it looks like. Here we go. So جيم connects from the left side with an alif, which connects, the alif only connects from the right side, forming ja, 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 ja. And when we're pronouncing the جيم, we must not say ja, 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 ja. We must not let the air flow easily in the mouth. Let's take an example here. جامع, جامع, جامع. We don't say جامع. We do not say جامع. We do not say جامع. We do not say جامع. We say جامع, جامع. سجى, سجى. This is in the Quran. When we pronounce it at using one of the recitations of the Quran, we do not say sajah or sajeh. We do not say as well. This third one is a mistake. It's not part of the Arabic language. Sajo or saja. No, we say saja, 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 and the air fades out until the sound of an alif is gone. And while pronouncing the letter jim, the letter jim characteristic does not have an elevation at the deepest part of the tongue. Let's take the next letter. حرف الحاء زائد حرف الألف. حاء has the same written characteristics of a jim, so added to it an alif. Now I'm running quickly because ha, kha are all the same as jim. Ha plus alif is ha, 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 ha. It takes the time of two has. Ha, 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 ha. Examples: Haris, not Haris or Haris or Horis. Haris, Haris. No elevation at the back part of the tongue. And Ar-Raha, 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 Ar-Raha. Okay. Harful Kha. Now there is elevation at the back part of the tongue, and I'll show you how this elevation looks exactly right now. Here we are at this excellent drawing done by one of the big scholars called Sheikh Ayman Rushdi Suwaid, where he explained how does every letter look from inside the tongue, from inside the mouth. Okay, let's go now to the harf kha. This is here how the kha, the tongue, looks like when you're pronouncing the harf al-kha, which is kha, when we add a fatha to it. So how does it look like? The back tongue is elevated. The deepest part of the tongue is elevated from here, as you can see here. The deepest part of the tongue is elevated. Let's see. حرف الحاء, we just took the ha. You can see here that the deepest part of the tongue is not elevated. See? See, here it's elevated, here it's not elevated. This is how we pronounce the kha. When you put an alif after the kha, the same tongue characteristic remains while you're pronouncing the alif. You don't put your tongue back to the resting position. So you don't say kha, you say kha, kha, khashia, khashia. Now let's practice. So it's kha, kha, and khamil, and khamil. Now I'm gonna illustrate it in a video. When you pronounce a kha, as we have seen in the drawing before, that the letter kha, while pronouncing the letter kha, you do not need to change your lips. The lips takes the shape of two open lips as when you're doing a fatha. But what happens? The deepest part of your tongue is elevated to the upper side, is elevated, then it makes the sound of kha, kha. See? Ha, ha, kha, ha, kha, ha, kha. You can touch this by putting your mouth in the tongue, ha, 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 and touching the place where the deepest top part of the tongue is elevating to the upper side. So, to make a sound of a kha, do not say kho, kho. Do not say kho. Do not make a circle with your tongues. No, with your lips. Do not circle your lips. Just say kha, kha. The sound, the elevation, makes the sound of a kha, and not circling your lips. Now let's continue. So say kha, kha, khamil. حرف الدال. Dal connects only from the left side, while alif connects only from the right side. So there is no way an alif can connect to the dal. So a dal plus an alif, we do not need any extensions here, is da, da. And there is no elevation in the back part of the tongue while you're pronouncing the da. The harf dal, I'm not gonna illustrate upon this because I have illustrated in harf kha and ha and all the letters before how does the elevation of the back tongue happens, and I'm gonna illustrate more in the place where I start explaining the characteristics of the Arabic letters. Now, daris, daris, and we said, see, you don't say doris, you don't say deres, you don't say deres, you say daris, daris. And while you're pronouncing it, you do not say daris, daris. See, you do not change how the alif sounds at the beginning from the last end of the alif. You say da, daris. You don't say da, daris. Okay? So, it's one letter. It should be this the same from the beginning till the end. Abada, abada. Okay? Let's go to harf al-dal. Written characteristics is just as the dal, but it has a dot over it and it's pronounced as in the. I'm sorry, there's an extension here that's wrong. That's totally wrong. It should be eliminated. So there's no extension. There's no elevation at the deepest part of the tongue. ذابل, شذا, شذا. حرف الراء. The ra connects only from the right side, just as dal and dal. What's the difference between ra and dal and dal in the written characteristics? How do you know it? Because some people while writing might write it very similar. The ra is under the line. Some of it is over the line, some of it is above the line. Okay? But a dal, let me go back to the dal. It looks very similar to the dal. A dal is over the line. It's totally over the line. Okay? Now let's go back to harf ra plus added to an alif it's ra, ra. حرف الراء only connects from the right side, while the alif doesn't connect from the while it doesn't connect from the left side, and alif connects from the right side, and the ra doesn't connect from the left side, so they don't connect together. So it's ra, ra. In ra, in this specific, ra has different characteristics of elevation of the tongue. And when it is before an alif, it is always elevated. The tongue is always elevated. The deepest part of the tongue is elevated, forming ra. We don't say ra, ra, ra. We say ra, ra. Okay? Rabih. Sara, sara. And as you see, we don't say sa, ra, sare, sare. We say sara. So, the same characteristic of the ra, of the tongue elevation in the ra, is applied to the alif after it. Rabih. Now, let's go to the za. Za is just as the ra, but with a dot. And za, za, and zahir. But the za does not have tongue elevation. So you don't say za, you don't say zo, you don't say z, you say za, za, just as in ha, za. Azza, 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 azza. Okay. حرف السين. Seen does not have elevation at the back part of the tongue. Seen can be connected from both sides, as you can see here. So when it connects to the alif, it has an extension from the left side, while the alif views its connection from the right side, and it connects to a sa, causing the sound of sa, sa, with no elevation of the tongue. Safara. You don't say safara, or safara, or sofara, or safara, or sefara. You say safara. You say amsa, amsa, and you don't say amsa. You don't cut the sound of an alif. No, it fades out. Amsa. Let's go to sheen. Sheen has this same written characteristics of a seen. So sha, 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 sha. Shamikh, shamikh, shamikh. You don't say, and it doesn't have elevation at the deepest part of the tongue, so you don't say shamikh. You don't say, sorry, you don't say. When we elevate the back part of the tongue, it makes a sound of sha, 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 but it doesn't make a sound of shaw. Shaw. This happens when you round your lips. When you round your lips while you're opening them. So it doesn't make a sound of a fatha, it doesn't make a sound of a dhamma. It makes a sound that is not in Arabic language. It might be in other languages. So we don't say shamikh, we don't say shamikh, we don't say shamikh, we don't say shemikh, we say shamikh, shamikh, just like ha, just like sa, just like ka in cat. You don't say cat, you don't say cat, you don't say cat, you don't say coat, you say cat, cat, sha, shamikh. تفشى, تفشى. حرف الصاد. صاد is an elevated, it has a very, like, some of the back, the deepest part of the tongue elevates, and the whole tongue elevates with the حرف صاد. So it affects the alif, it affects the alif strongly, and the صاد, just like the seen and the sheen, it connects from both sides. So when you say صا, and you say صا, 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 صار, صالح, الأقصى, الأقصى. Okay, let's go to حرف الضاد. ضاد is just like the صاد. It has an elevation at the back part of the tongue. ضاد. And when you add an alif after it, it connects to it, and alif connects to it, and it becomes a ضا, ضا, ضابط, مرضى, مرضى. حرف الطاء. As we can see, it connects from both sides, and it is the strongest letter in Arabic. So when you pronounce it, you say طا, طا. You don't say طا, طا. You don't say طو. You don't say طي. You don't say طي. You say طا, طا. طالب, أعطى. Sorry, this is wrong here. This is a صاد, not a طا. Okay. حرف الظا. حرف الظا. ظا. ظا. This is also one of the strongest letters in Arabic because it has the this has an elevation in the deepest part of the tongue. When it's added to an alif, it becomes dha, 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 dha. You don't say dha, dha. No, you say dha. And here the examples: ظالم, ظالم. And you don't say dha. Okay, you don't say ظا or ظالم or ظالم. It's ظالم, ظالم. You just elevate the deepest part of the tongue. You don't move your lips to make a circle with the fatha. يحظى also. This is the other word here. يحظى, يحظى. حرف العين. The letter عين connects from both sides, and when it connects from both sides, it becomes like this. This is how it looks like. Now, if it connects only from the left side, this is how it looks like. So it becomes عالم, عالم. It doesn't have elevation at the back part of the tongue. If it has elevation, it will become عالم, عالم. And you don't round your lips. You don't say عالم. You say عالم. And he أفعى, أفعى. The other word is أفعى. الغين. It has the same written characteristics of al-ain, but it has a dot over it, and we have to add here that there's an elevation at the back part of the tongue while pronouncing harful ghain. So you don't say harful ghain, al-ghain. You say harful ghain. Okay? Gha, gha, ghalib, bagha. And you don't say bagha. You don't say bagha. You don't say baghi. You say ba, gha. Okay? Harful fa. Fa does not have an elevation, just like the word, for example, fat in English. Okay? Fa, fa. It does not have an elevation at the deepest part, so Fatima, Fatima. You don't say Fatima. You don't say Fatima. You don't say Fatima, Fatima. You say Fatima. Fa, 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 fa. Mustashfa, hospital. حرف القاف. Qaf has an elevation at the deepest part of the tongue, so it becomes qa. It's not qa. And qa, قابل, يبقى, يبقى. You don't say يبقى, يبقى or يبقى, يبقى or يبقى or يبقى, يبقى. You say يبقى, يبقى. Okay. حرف الكاف. It does not have an elevation at the deepest part of the tongue. It connects from both sides, and this is how it looks when it connects from both sides. This is how it looks when it's alone or connected only from the right side at the end of the word, for example. And it is connected to the alif like this, so it becomes what? Ka. It does not have elevation at the deepest part, so it's kana, abka. Lam does not have an elevation at the deepest part of the tongue. This is how it looks when it's alone or connected only from the right side. This is how it looks before an alif only. Okay? Before an alif, this is how it looks like. La. It has two shapes. Two like they draw it in two forms. For example, before an alif, either they draw it like this, la. So this is la, or like this, la, and here the lam connects from this side. So it takes the alif, like it takes the alif over it, above it. The alif is semi above it. Okay. Examples: malaika. It doesn't have elevation at the deepest part of the tongue, so you don't say malaika or malaika or mala or mala or malay. You say malaika, malaika. Just as further explanation, when I do elevation at the back part of the tongue, it makes the sound of mala, mala, and not the other sounds that I'm making. But I'm making these sounds for you just to know that these sounds are wrong as well. For example, malo, malo. Now I'm circling my lips. I'm not only elevating the back part of the tongue. For example, when I'm saying mala, I'm going back. I'm raising some of the middle of my tongue. So I'm mentioning one error, one mistake, which is elevating the back part of the tongue, and I'm mentioning other mistakes. لاعب, أملا. حرف الميم. حرف الميم connects from both sides, and at the end of the word it's written like this. In the middle of the word it's written usually like this, and it's connected sometimes from both sides. It connects from both sides, and the alif connects only from the right side, so it becomes ma, and it doesn't have elevation from the deepest part of the tongue, so it becomes ma'il. Yatama, orphans. حرف النون, added to the alif, it doesn't have elevation from the deepest part of the tongue. It connects from both sides. When it connects from both sides, it looks like this, just like a ta, but with a dot over it. When it connects from both sides, when it's alone, it doesn't look like a ta, it looks like this, and this part is under the line, not like a ta. In a ta, this is how a noon looks like. Okay, in a ta, this part here, I'm gonna go back to the ta for you guys to see. In the ta, for example, here we have a ta. It's above the line. It's always above the line. Okay, it never goes beneath the line, even when it's alone. So in the noon here, when it's alone, it's beneath the line. When it's connected to the alif, it looks just like a ta with one dot only. So it's na. It doesn't have elevation at the deepest part of the tongue, and it's na'il. Now I'm going fast because you've already mastered. I propose that you have already. I expect that you have already mastered the tips that I'm speaking about here. I'm saying na'il, not na'il, not na'il, not na'il, not na'il, na'il. And here ta'anna. Now harful ha, this is how it looks like when it's alone. This is how it looks like when it's connected to the al-ta'rif. It has another forms in the writing. Ha. Now we're gonna see, for example here, hada, and anha. This is how it looks like when it's connected from both sides. All of this, the connection, how the letter is written, I'm repeating right now, but this should be in a form of a basic course. This is a semi-advanced course, like a moderate course. Okay, let's go to the harful waw. As we said, a waw can be harfu mad, a long vowel. Now I'm repeating. I don't want to use long vowel as a definition of harful mad, but I'm repeating it just for you to understand. Harful waw, as we said, it can be a long vowel, and it can be what? A consonant sometimes. And when it's a consonant, it makes the sound of a W in English. So wa, it connects only from the right side. So when it connects to an alif, there's no way they can meet. Wa. Examples: waqif, and it doesn't have elevation at the back part of the tongue. Be careful with the waw, because many people, when they say it, they say waqif. No, we say waqif. واقف. المأوى حرف الياء, which is the last letter. It looks like a ta. It connects from both sides. We said that the ya has sometimes the characteristics of a long vowel, and sometimes it has the characteristic of a consonant. And when it's a consonant, it makes a sound of a y in English, and it makes a sound of a ya. This is how when it's alone. This is how it looks like when it's alone. This part here, the part here is under the line. Okay, when it's connected to the other letters in its word from both sides, it looks like a ta, but with two dots under it, beneath it. So it's ya. I should have put an extension here because it connects to the ya from this side, but as we see here, ya, and here Yaman. يامن يامن يحيى 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 حرف الهمزة, which is the letter that comes out from the place of the vocal cords. A. It either looks like this, or it looks like this when it's connected to an alif. Or a. These are the same. They have the same pronunciation exactly. Examples: آمن آمن جزءان جزءان. The Hamza does not have elevation at the back part of the tongue. رأى رأى. See, رأى. The Ra has elevation here because it is with the Fatha. As I said, the Ra has specific conditions for elevation of the back tongue, of the deepest part of the tongue. I'm not gonna speak about right now, but here it has elevation, so it's Ra. Then I go back and I de-elevate the back part of the tongue to say Ra, A. I don't say Ra, O. Ra, A. And then I pronounce the Alif here, Ra'a, Ra'a, Ra'a. Now I'm done with this class, and this link here, you can visit this website and see many words that have that end with an alif, and you can practice here. Thank you very much for listening, and meet you in the next week with one new lecture of Arabic sounds. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.